Hi everyone. I was fortunate enough to get an advance copy of Ringo's upcoming CD, What's My Name? That's due to be coming out officially this Friday, the 25th. And unfortunately, I was not able to yet attain the vinyl copy. I'm going to be getting that later down the line. So far, the cover, as you can see, is just about what we expect from Ringo: sunglasses, a star, a peace sign, and another star. Let me say something from the beginning, because a lot of times I don't think people realize this. What I tend to do whenever there's a new release like this out, I've done it with Paul McCartney, I've done it with Ringo, is I basically make a video like this, which is basically my first initial impression. How did it hit me upon first hearing it? Because so far I've only played this album one time, and that's not enough to do an official review. This is not an official review. It's not my last word on the subject. But what I thought I would do is just lay down my first reaction upon hearing it one time. And then as time goes on and I become acquainted with all the tracks more and more and more and become really familiarized with it, then I'll commit to my official review. Okay? How's that sound? So, first impression, this struck me as a strong Ringo album. The tracks are all strong, with the exception of probably one that I'll get into. For the most part, there are 10 tracks on this album, and they're all very up-tempo. They're all very exciting, energetic, upbeat kind of songs, with the exception of a cover song that a lot of you have heard already, I'm sure, a cover song of John Lennon's Grow Old With Me that Ringo does a beautiful job on, sings it very tenderly. Great job on that one. I think it's probably the highlight of the album at this point, based on what I've heard so far, the amount of times I've heard it once. But after that, all the other 9 songs, like I said, are full of energy. And that's kind of refreshing in a way. I would say that all of the tracks here are interesting. All of them are somewhat good. I think that there's one song here that really we didn't need. Did we need another cover of the classic song Money? That's What I Want. Did we really need another one? And if it's done here, it'd have to be so poor. It's the only track on here that I could call downright poor. The rest are good, or pretty good. Tell you the truth, I'd rather hear the Flying Lizards version of Money than Ringo. It's really badly auto-tuned, and I can't stand the effects on it, and I just don't like the rendition. Now, speaking of auto-tune, a lot of people oftentimes will say they hear a lot of auto-tune on Ringo's albums. I've always said I can't decipher it. I deciphered it on that one track, Money. But other than that, I couldn't really hear any auto-tune. I'm not saying it's not there. I'm just saying that, and perhaps fortunately so for me, I can never really decipher it, so it doesn't ruin the albums for me. I don't really know what other people are referring to. That's all I could say about it, so it's not overwhelming to me. Now, that's all the good news. I'll talk about more standout tracks and things later on as I get more familiar. But while the songs are all good, I do have one beef with this upon first listen that kind of disappoints me a little bit, and that's when we heard the title track, which was on social media, What's My Name, a song written by Colin Hay of Men at Work. When we heard that song on the internet, we started thinking, I know a lot of people, and myself included, said, boy, Ringo's voice sounds really in the background, kind of buried in the mix. That's what struck me from the very opener of this. From the very beginning, I could tell that Ringo's voice was not as decipherable as it should be. I couldn't make out any of the words really at times. Not on every song. Some songs are more clear than others. But I've always been a fan of wanting vocals up front and center. I always want to be able to hear the vocalist. I don't like it being buried in the mix. So I didn't like that. The production on here I didn't care for. The songs I like. The production, the buried voice, I wasn't too wild about that. Maybe it'll change as I listen more and more. When I open up the booklet, another star, And lo and behold, are you surprised? Ringo with a peace sign yet again. Uh, but kind of disappointed that there are no lyrics in here, because I need to hear what the lyrics are. In a lot of cases, I was struggling to try to find out what is he saying exactly. And on some tracks you can tell, but hopefully when the LP version comes out, we'll be able to get the full lyrics down, because that's my only quibble right now. And is it going to remain a quibble, or is it going to become a big thing that's going to detract from the album for me? I don't know. But based on one listen, good songs, strong upbeat tempo, with an exception or two. And just wish it was recorded a little differently. That's all at this point. Thanks, everybody.